they catch a lot of flack for being toxic or whatever, but they literally saved human lives. So you can go fuck yourself if that's what you think.
Zack Snyder talks about his fandom real quick here, or the fandom, and how his fandom has been called toxic.
If you were in my shoes, there were numerous times, dark times, when I would say there is no chance that there will ever be my version of Justice League will never exist. And it can't. Cost, politics, everything stood against it. And yet it exists. And, I think the fans should never forget that they did that, And they also did a lot of, we raised a ton of money for suicide prevention, and they really did a lot of good. And I think that they catch a lot of flack for being toxic or whatever, but they literally saved human lives. So you yourself if that's what you think.
So did they actually literally save lives? Yeah, I was part of it. I helped raise money for AFSP under the Snyder Cut and Snyderverse name. I did that because I felt it was honorable. I felt it was the right thing to do. But for him to sit there and say that they get a lot of flack being called toxic, and he just can say, oh, it doesn't matter, you can call them toxic, but they save lives. See, that it's not just about that. Everything I've had to say this a few times the last couple days. Things aren't black and white in life. They're not. It's not, hey, it's this way or this way. Look, I acknowledge the great and the good things that the Snyder fandom did with raising awareness for suicide prevention and things like that. And you can acknowledge that. But you cannot then negate and not acknowledge the stuff like this. Or things like this. Fire James Gunn. Hashtag Fire James Gunn. Or things like this. Review bombing Godzilla vs. Kong because we're upset we're not getting a continuation of our universe. Or things like this. Boycott Warner Brothers Discovery. And you can see a lot of ugly posts about that. And the things that they post. And things like this showing people that, like, again, you can sit there and acknowledge the good that the fandom did. But you cannot ignore the terrible and disgusting behavior that they did as well. Now, am I going to sit here and say that the other side was all rainbows and unicorns and perfect? No. They're bad too. And when I see them when I see them cross a line, I call them out for it. But you can't just act like, hey, they saved some lives because they raised money for AFSP, so all is forgiven for them. You can't do that. You just can't. That fandom is toxic in many, many ways. Let's not forget that they continue to bully people for liking the DCU, for supporting James Gunn. They bully James Gunn. And what is the number one cause for suicide in the United States? Being bullied. Being bullied. You see, you can't sit there and say they're not toxic, and you can't sit there and tell people to f*** off and calling them toxic when they are truly being toxic. And this is the stuff that I hate about Zack Snyder. This is the stuff that I dislike what he does, because he's just sitting there and trying to say, my fans are great and perfect and they're awesome, and the people that say they're toxic, they're the bad ones. That's basically what he said right there. And it's complete bullshit. Complete bullshit. It's a shame is what it is.